Hello, YouTube. I'm live and I've lost my audience. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to my previous stream. I will wait here and see if anyone shows up. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened with that. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can make it happen now. Hi, Zoe. Hi, James Fernandez. Hi, hola. Hi. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened. It started going the stream, and then it all fell apart. 10 of you have found me again. It was probably YouTube's fault, Amanda. Thank you so much for having my back like that. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Hi, Summer. Go Trig Boy. Now, I saw you last time, didn't I? Go Trig Boy. Let's see here. Fandomity. Were you Grace Fandomity? Go Trig Boy. What was your name, Go Trig Boy? You're Grace. Thank you. And yes, L. Ellie, pronounced Ellie, E-L-L-I-E, or just L? Like the letter L. L. Cool. I'm so sorry I messed up the initial chat. It looks like a lot of you have found me again. Hello, Barbara. I'm fine. How are you? Welcome, Zora. Welcome, Norio. Welcome, Kanel. Amanda. What are you doing here? Are you not bored of me yet already, Miss Amanda? She's not. Hi, Allegra. Oh, good. I'm glad you got here too, Barbara. You didn't miss anything. You just missed me fumbling around with the YouTube settings and blowing it. I'm so sorry. I'm fine, Zoe. I'm doing just fine. I spent today recording a Songwriters in the Round thing for a local radio station. I got to hang out with a couple of songwriters. That's going to air on a station around here in about a week. Yes, yay tech. Hi, Pineapple Coffee. Never bored of me. Well, I'll fix that. So anyway, it's I'm starting a little late here. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the latest Shakespeare. Tonight's topic is meant to be about acting. I'm going to do 4 of these. I'm going to do these every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And I decided I would just divide the Ask Me Anythings into the different things that I'm doing with my life, that I have done with my life since I was 6 weeks old. My mom tells me I was in my first commercial when I was 6 weeks old, and I'm still acting to this day. So there's that lifelong pursuit. And then next week, I'm going to talk about songwriting, which is something that I also am passionate about and I've been doing for 30 years. And the week after that, I'm going to talk about screenwriting. I've been a member of the Writers Guild of America since 2004, and I'm represented as a screenwriter in Los Angeles. But and then I'm going to talk about filmmaking on the last one. I'll talk about filmmaking on the last Ask Me Anything on Wednesday, June 23rd. So what I thought I'd start by doing is, I don't know, I'm sure some of you just, like my work as an actor and want to hear more about that. I was so impressed with the last one we did, where there were so many other artists who got on, who are actors themselves, who are trying to break into the business, who are thinking about trying, or who already are doing it. But what I wanted to do was just open up the chat here early apart from all of your wonderful greetings. And if you wouldn't mind, just let me know what it is that you want me to talk about tonight. What it is that you kind of came here maybe hoping to hear. Any questions you may have either about your own pursuit of the art of acting or my pursuit of it, or if there's any specific projects that I've been in that you want to know anything about. um, I'm here for any and all of it. And you know I'm happy to tell you stories until this thing is over in 45 minutes or whenever we decide to break it up because you're bored of me. But I'm always happy to talk to young people who are aspiring or who want to do it, and they just they have questions. I'm a teacher. I've done a lot of teaching. I taught drama, playwriting to junior high school kids, speaking English as a second language in East LA for several years while I was living there. That was incredibly rewarding to get those kids writing plays and performing plays. I've done a lot of substitute teaching, and I've taught Shakespeare performance and filmmaking at a local community college here in Chattanooga at Chattanooga State University, and that's been very rewarding. I've had some incredible students, young people, passionate artists who I've been able to, share my experience with, and, on some occasions mentor and whatnot. So I always love talking to people about any questions that they have for me about their own pursuit of the craft. So I'm just going to make sure I get this. Nellie Gain, how do you learn a long play? Shakespeare so long? I know. That's a great question. Grace, did you ever have anxiety about performing, not just general nerves? I was forced to take an acting class in college and I cried. Oy. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about anxiety and sort of being forced to take the stage against your will. That can be so damaging. That's so wow. I can't imagine that. That sounds really hard. How do you deal with that? Okay. What should I know if I wanted to enter theater in college if I've never had any previous theater experience? Joey, good question. No experience. What would be your choice advice to someone who wanted to get into film acting? Sylvia, thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. That's a good question. I will answer that. Advice for aspiring film actors. Do I want to do tech or act? Oh, you're talking to Joey. Grace is asking Joey. This is great. Yeah, you all have become a little community of filmmakers and actors right here in the message board. I love it. You'll probably learn more from each other than you could possibly learn from me. How to get the change? How to get the change to have a role? The chance to have a role when you live in a really small city. Is it necessary to go to a big city to have a chance? Wow. Thank you, Nelly. Zoe, what's been your favorite experience with acting so far? That's a hard one, Zoe. I don't know the answer. I'm going to have to think about that. I'll have an answer by the time I get to answering that question. Best tip for teaching young kids and helping them with their passions. Callie? Do you pronounce it Kelly or is it Callie? I have a friend named Callie, Kally. So I'm tempted to call you Callie Ann. but I wonder if it's Kellyanne. Wow. I love teaching young kids, man. I love watching it light up their eyes. Okay. I'm gonna write down 2 or 3 more here. Yeah, these are great questions. How to deal with the fact it's not a stable job. Yes. These are amazing questions. What are the differences between stage acting and screen acting? Thank you. I've been acting since I was 4. Now that I'm 18, I want to be in films, but I don't know how to get a manager and so on. All right, Elle. Yep. I imagine there's an audio drama planned for the Step series. Amanda! There was! Yes, there was. Okay? It didn't work out. The Steps is a web series that I made that's on YouTube. If you type Steps web series, all one word, you get to the homepage of the Steps web series. It's a web series that I made here in Chattanooga, and Amanda's a fan because she's awesome. It's pronounced Kellyanne. Got it. Beautiful. What a name. In my experience, some are red. Some professional actors look down on those who adore theater but only do it recreationally. They see it as sad or whatever. Thoughts? Come out of my ears. Boot! Sad. Boot! Holy moly. I disagree with them very much. We'll talk about that. I'm an aspiring actor and writer. I was wondering how you go about portraying morally ambiguous characters. I always have a difficulty making them not too hateable. Wow, Pineapple Coffee. You're deep in the process, huh? Good for you. Morally ambiguous characters. Okay. Great. What would you say is the first step towards getting into acting from Georgie? All right. I'll see if I can get to that one too. First steps. Okay. So let me go back to the beginning, everybody. I'm going to go back. I'll try and if you write any more, you think of more, that's fine. You can throw them in there, but I'm just going to go back to the beginning real quick. Okay. How do you do a long play? Shakespeare's so long. The reason why Shakespeare is such a gift to actors, and we love doing Shakespeare, theater actors love doing Shakespeare, is because so much of it is written in verse. Now, there's a lot of it that is written in prose, but a lot of Shakespeare is written in verse. It's written in a verse called iambic pentameter, meaning every line has 10 syllables, 5 feet. Each foot is a 2-syllable thing. To be or not to be, that is the question. Now that one has 11 because it breaks the rule. But so much of Shakespeare is we are glad the Dauphin is so pleasant with us. That actually has 11 too. Anyway, but soft what light through yonder window breaks. 10. So as you read Shakespeare, a lot of those lines are 10 syllables. And what that does is, although it can be a trap for actors to read it that way, sing something, but soft, what light, what heart, what the window breaks, it is the east and June is the sun. That can get extremely boring, extremely fast. But what it does do in terms of memorization is it makes it extremely memorizable. Shakespeare's really memorizable because it's in a pattern. And you can start to feel it. The more you say Shakespeare out loud, the more you'll understand that pattern, and the more that you will you'll internalize it, and you will find yourself, once you've got that, every line has got this rhythm to it. And that's why Shakespeare wrote it, because he felt like it was sort of the rhythm of the human heart. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. That it hi Dehusa, nice to see you. Yeah, so you are cultured, Summer Rae. Anyway, so that's how actors memorize huge chunks of Shakespeare in very short periods of time. And I know it can feel long, but you do it one line at a time. And the way that I do it is I've got my lines of Shakespeare written, on a page, and I go, okay, the first line is to be or not to be, that is the question. What's the next line? Okay. Yep. I was right about that one. Here comes the second line. I didn't get. Okay. Back to the beginning. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings. And yep, I got that. And I'll just go like that and work on those lines one by one. Sometimes I'll tape them into my phone. I'll read the speeches, the big long sections into my phone, and I will listen to them in my car or listen to them on headphones. So you do it one line at a time, and he's there to help you. Shakespeare actors, when he was originally writing the plays, only had a week to rehearse. He wrote the verse specifically to be memorized fast, and you have to remember that, even though the words are kind of archaic sometimes, and you have to get to the heart of the meaning. It was built to be learned by actors. He is the actor's best friend. Anxiety, forced to take the stage, and they made you do it, and you cried. That sounds super painful. Theater is not supposed to hurt. It is supposed to demand courage, and it's one of the bravest things you can do, to walk out on stage, and just the fact that you did it took a lot of courage and bravery. Some people can't even do that. I would like to have a discussion with someone who forced you to do something you didn't want to do, though, because there are certainly ways to ease your way into performing. You can perform for one or two people. You can perform for a part of the class. A lot of, very famous actors have anxiety about performing in front of people. Movie sets are cleared of crew sometimes for scenes or sensitive work that people just are like, I'm not doing that in front of anybody but the director, or I'm not doing that in front, so I would say, if that was an experience you had, don't let that scare you out of the craft. That might have just been a tough early experience, but you'll be stronger because of it. I don't want to pretend like I can speak to real anxiety, because I don't have any experience with it. I don't suffer from crippling anxiety before I go on stage. I definitely feel nerves, but I don't want to diminish what you're going through or anyone's going through if they're sort of overcome with a feeling that they can't control that is preventing them from going on stage. Hello, Lucy. I don't know if I answered your question entirely, but that might be my best shot for the moment. So, Joe, how to enter theater with no experience, or to feel like how you can just walk in there. Acting is an amateur's medium. Our whole craft is built on people walking in from other walks of life, other pursuits, and saying, I want to try this. I want to learn some lines, and I want to stand on a stage and speak them to someone and see what it means. What does it feel like? Why am I doing that? It's a crazy idea. Okay, thank you, Grace. So be a beginner. Beginners are our lifeblood. People who show up who've never done it before sometimes turn out to be the most incredible, instinctively, great performers ever. And sometimes they try it and they say, I hated that. And then they don't ever do it again. But being an amateur, being a beginner, you're in a great place, and we need you. The craft needs you. If the only people who could do it were people who say, I'm trained to do it, we'd be sunk. We would be sunk. So go try it. Go try it. What's the worst that can happen is the first day you're gonna be like, I'm not going up on stage to do that for anything. But I bet you, if you have an instinct to try it, you're gonna want to grab a script, or do an improv, or get up on stage and play a mirror game with another actor, or do a theater game or a drama game or whatever. And you're gonna go, is this what all the fuss is about? Try it. Sylvia, advice for aspiring film actors. So what I'm going to assume from that question, Sylvia, and I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about this, but that you are an actor, you've tried it, you've had some experience, maybe you've done some live theater, and you want to know, how do I transition from that into film? You need to make, okay, great, perfect. Make a movie. Just make the littlest movie that you possibly can. If you know another actor that you can do one scene with in your kitchen about a magic potion that one of you has crafted and wants the other one to drink, and the other one's like, I'm not drinking that, just make it. Make a 1-minute movie. Here's what's going to happen for you, Sylvia, when you make and here's what you can do. You can shoot your friend, and your friend can shoot you, and then you can download a piece of simple editing software, or if you've got anything on your computer that can help you do that, you can even do it on your phone. I think on some phones, when you cut it together and you start cutting back and forth between your face and your friend's face, whatever it may be, even if it's a one-person movie. I just made a one-person Shakespeare movie with my son the other day. I said, point this camera at me, I'm going to say some lines. When you watch it back, you start learning. Not only you start learning, you start seeing what it is you would do differently next time, and you have inadvertently created your first piece of acting reel footage, which is what you need to have a film career and get film representation. You need content. You need you on camera acting. So my recommendation for you and anyone who's trying to transition from theater to film is, number one, you've made a great decision by starting with theater because you're learning a lot of nuts and bolts of how acting works. Number two, you've also almost without inadvertently, you have made actor friends. There were other people in your plays. Do you have their number? Do you have their email address? I guarantee if you reach out to one of them and say, hey, I was in that play with you. Do you want to come over this weekend and make a movie with me? Because I have an idea. They will come. They will be there. So make a movie, shoot anything, any way you can, and start your film career, because that's really where it starts. That's where it started from, for so many of us, is that we just started making it and seeing what it felt like. You might love it and go. You'll be giving yourself on experiences, which is what you need. Connections are everything. You're right. I talk about that a lot. And I know that can be discouraging for people like, oh, if I don't know Issa Rae, I'll never be on TV. No, Ava DuVernay. If you got to know someone. So and you're like, wait a minute. It's still a great rule. It is a rule. Connections are everything. And my career has totally been fueled by who I have met. But it's about the people you know now, your circle of people, your friends, your creative people around you who you see doing creative things. You see someone who's always scribbling in their notebook, and you say, hey, are you a writer? You want to write something that I can act in? Hey, I always see you shooting pictures with your camera. Do you like shooting pictures? Do you want to shoot some video of me? I'm actually going to write something and I'm going to act in it. And she's going to write me a speech to say. It's about collecting the people. They're right around you. Coppola, Spielberg, Scorsese, and Lucas were 4 friends in film school, and they started saying, what do you want to make? I want to make I want to make I want to make a mafia movie. I want to make a movie out in outer space. And they talked to each other and they fed off each other's work. You have a group of 4 people around you, or 3 or 2, or if you're in a small town, there's just one person who you're like, I know I can always bring my creative ideas to them. 5, 6, 8, 10, the friends of the friends of the friends. You have a circle. That's your community that you're going to make things with. Get in touch with them and tell them, I need you this weekend. And they're going to say, I'm watching the NBA playoffs. And you're going to say, no, you're not. You're coming to make a movie with me. Okay. Do you have to be in a big city to have a chance? This is a great question, and it's changed a lot over the years. A lot of people thought you did have to move to New York or LA to make it. I'm one of those people. Oh, good, Barbara. That's great. That's great. I'm one of those. I'm from a big city. My sister's on here, Allegra. We're from Los Angeles. We're from Glendale, a suburb of Los Angeles. A lot of people feel like you have to move to one of those two cities. I'm one of those people that believe that the business has metastasized to such a point all over America and all over the world that I would rather you stay put. I would rather you carve out a career where you are, and here's why. Ultimately, I as an actor, I want to make things, and I've seen so many things set in those two cities that I love the idea of actors rooting down where they are and telling stories in where they are. And I think that you can make interesting films where you are, and I think you can find interesting theater opportunities where you are. That said, I've never had the guts to move to New York to chase a theater career. And apparently there's nothing like it. So what I'm going to say is I can't speak from experience on actors who pick up from wherever it is that they were born and raised, and they go to the center of the theater world in New York to, you know, to hit the pavement. Great, Georgie. That's a great idea. Do it. Yes. So I don't want to speak to your particular situation. If you're feeling stymied and you feel like you need to get away from what you were raised around and you want to change a pace and you want to get into a bigger community of artists and you want to get around other people doing what you do, then I would never discourage you from moving to one of the, cities that are considered central to the industry. New York and Los Angeles, namely. Although I got to say, I'm 2 hours away from Atlanta, and Atlanta has blown up as a media market. So Atlanta might be able to start, you might be able to start counting yourself having moved to a big entertainment industry city if you move to Atlanta. Chicago, I don't know anything about, although I love Chicago. What a cool city. But I have so many friends who are doing art in smaller places, and I just, one of my best friends living in San Antonio, and he's in such a cool music scene there, but it's small. I mean, San Antonio's small, Chattanooga's small, but I just did some theater here and it felt really good. I'm going to leave that there. You can, if you want to go to a big city, I believe in you and I support your decision. Favorite acting experience. I'm going to say Henry V in a pizza parlor basement while I was in college. That was just live. It was so the ceiling was lower than this ceiling. The ceiling almost came up to my head. Kegs of beer were being dropped on the floor above. You're welcome, Nellie. Were being dropped above my head while I was doing this English King, but I was so tapped into and the audience was no bigger than 40 people. I think we could get 40 people in there, maybe 50. But that little pizza parlor basement became lofty fields of France, in our imaginations. And it was so, it was just really powerful. It was a small cast. I loved playing that part. Best tip for teaching young kids, Kaylee Ann. Are you teaching, Kaylee Ann? Are you teaching? If you are, I just want to say, doing God's work. Thank you. Teachers are my heroes. I love you if you're teaching. Anyone who's teaching or being a mentor or spreading your gift to kids. I always start them off with games. I get everybody in a circle. I mean, a great acting exercise. With kids is just get them standing in a circle, and you can do pass the clap around or get people to say their name and do a funny motion, and then everybody has to say their name and do a funny motion after them. The simple act of standing in a circle is something that a lot of kids freak out over. Not good. They freak because they're visible to everyone. Kids are so used to being all in rows with their backs like this, and they don't have to look at anybody's face. You put everyone in a circle and they're like, everyone can see me. And then you ask them to do something like say your name and do a physical action. That is the most basic, rudimentary theater exercise you can do for kids. And you can go a long way with it. You can do a lot of games with people standing in circles or sitting in circles. Then I always love to pair kids up and start doing the mirror game, which basically just requires them to do the most important thing you do as an actor, which is pay attention, listen. Now, in the mirror game, you're not necessarily listening with your ears, but you're listening with your body. And you're basically trying to get them to go slow enough so that the leader is not going too fast to throw off the follower. And then you're constantly switching up the leader and the follower. You say, when I snap my fingers, whoever's following, you're now the leader. Snap and snap. And eventually, as I walk around, I shouldn't be able to tell who's leading and who's following. These are simple games that, and there's a lot of them. You can look them up on YouTube. You can look them up online. There's a lot of fun theater games you can do with kids that get to the principles of theater and acting without necessarily saying, read this speech from Hamlet, which they're not going to want to do, or they're not going to be able to do. They might. There might be some who are like, give me the speech from Hamlet. I'm ready to start. But for the rest of them, if you're teaching a class full of kids and you're trying to introduce them the ideas of theater and drama and acting, start with some fun games and then ask them to reflect on what they've learned. And you want to promote the principles of theater and drama to them. Listening. You got to pay attention. Got to open your eyes. Hey, when another person is saying their name and doing a motion, you watch them. No talking. You watch. Try and do exactly what they did. Were you paying attention to what they did to their left hand? This is the type of stuff that actors need to know when they're young. Nellie, it's not a stable job. What are you supposed to tell the people? It's not a stable job. It's so risky. You should really do something a little bit more, that'll be more assured. You'll be more assured of making a good living with. I mean, isn't that just oh my gosh, you're going to hear it, right? You're going to hear it. Here's what I'm going to say, and this is a lesson that Allegra and I have been learning as we read this book called The Biggest Bluff. Everything's a risk. Anybody who says, why don't you become a lawyer or a doctor? That's risky. You want me to sink that much money into my postgraduate schooling? What if the wrong person reads my thesis? What if the law firm doesn't accept me where I want to work? What if I go to med school and there's no positions open when I come out? What if? Everything's risky. Acting is not stable. I will grant you that. It's a tough life, but it's a good life and it's an important life. And it's, here's the thing. Here's what drives me crazy. I'm probably going to go too long. Everybody loves art. Everybody loves actors, the art that actors make, filmmakers, writers, music, they love it. But when they come across someone in their family, one of their kids or their brother or their sister who says, I want to do that, they go, are you out of your mind? So they can't have it both ways. And my feeling is, if it's in you and you want to express it and you want to explore it, then I give you permission. I give everyone permission who wants to try and explore it. I just say, go after it with everything. It's not a stable job. You're gonna have to work other jobs to pursue it. Granted, I get it. Yes, true. It is not a stable job. It's still a dignified job, and it has a lot of value. Difference between stage acting and film acting. When I'm stage acting, I have to be a little bit bigger so that my performance can reach all the way to the back of the theater. And so my voice has to be a little more volume, and I have to enunciate my consonants, and I have to round out my vowels. Otherwise, they will not hear me when I say, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks. When I'm doing film work, the audience is right here. It's only 2 inches away, and I can be a lot more I can be more quiet and I can do a lot less. The best description I've ever heard of it is, in theater, on stage, you're there to give a performance, and you have to give that performance to every single person who bought a ticket. In film, Kayla, you're like, I'll just serve face. In film, you're there to have an experience. The audience wants to have you wants to see you have an experience of feeling something from what you're hearing. I would say that the principles at the heart of both are the same, which is that you're there to listen. You need to work off your partner. You need to listen, but the size of the performance changes, and you bring your theater-sized performance to a film performance at your peril, because a film audience watching it will go, "Whoa, too much." In film, a single eyebrow going up means something. So, and it's a real luxury. It's a luxury when you've come from a theater acting background, and some of you have, wow, you want to study physics and be an astrophysicist, but at the same time you want to act. I completely give thumbs up to that. I bet they would intersect in ways you wouldn't even recognize. And I bet anything you learned as an actor you could bring to your life as a scientist, and vice versa. I believe there's lots of cross-pollination. Anyway, that's my basics on difference between stage and theater. How to get a manager, Al? How are you going to get a manager? Do you know anyone else who has a manager who might meet with you? There are lists of reps that you can get, and you can cold call them. Here's my suggestion, though. If you're going to approach managers, the ideal situation, and I know this is going to sound crazy, is that agents and managers will come to you. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for being here. If anyone has to leave, I totally understand. I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone's question. I'm almost there, but not all of them. Agents and managers will come to you when you do a great show, or when you make a great short film that goes to a film festival. So I know that the temptation is to believe that the manager is the thing that gets you in the door. The manager or the agent is what gets you the career. I just want to put it to you that your career brings the manager and the agent, and that I would so much rather, if you're going to spend 10% cold calling or cold emailing or cold mailing agencies and managers, which is totally fine. And there are lots of agencies, smaller agencies, that hold open calls. There are managers who will accept unsolicited submissions, and you should be mailing them, and you should be trying to follow up with phone calls. Absolutely. There are sometimes showcases for agents and managers. Absolutely. The other 90% needs to be focused on the work. You've got to do it. Do the play. And when you get the part in the play, that's when you make a mailer and you send that out to every agent and manager in the city and say, come see me in my play. I'm doing my thing. You want a piece of me. Come and check me out. You make a short film and get it into the Slamdance Film Festival. You make your flyers then. You email managers, you mail agents and managers and say, check out my film. I'm in a film festival. You got to see me. So I'm going to put it at those numbers, 90-10. Yes, 10%. Find a way to get your headshot and your resume, and those things had better be in good shape. If you need any help on that, I would be able to help you, but that's another conversation. But do the work, and the reps will come. Amanda, yes, the audio series for the steps was going to be great, but it fell apart. Are you still here, Amanda? If you want to win the World Series of Poker, you got to start playing poker. Amen. Amen. You remember me in One Tree Hill? Wow. That was a cool show to be on. Jenna Bush was on that. She was awesome. She's really nice. And the Melrose Place actress was also on One Tree Hill while I was there. And I'm forgetting her name. She was amazing. No, it's not Summer Rae. Are you still here, Summer Rae? Are you still here? I think she had to go. A pursuit of life in the theater is not sad. It's noble. It's great. And it's hard. And it's got its ups and downs. How do you do morally ambiguous characters? Here's what I'll say about that pineapple coffee. Are you still with me? I don't know. I think maybe he had to go too, or she. The actors got it easy when it comes to morally ambiguous characters in my book, because you don't have to play morally ambiguous. You have to play it true to the page. It's up to the audience to decide whether Cameron is good or bad. And I get a lot of questions. Is he evil? None of my business. And it's none of yours either if you're an actor and you're being asked to play a difficult character or a character as you read going, Daphne Zuniga! That's who it was! Yes, she's so awesome. She's the nicest person. I got to do a play with her too in Los Angeles. Good call. Thanks, Kayla. You play the character true to the character's self. And you play the character moment by moment and scene by scene as it was spelled out to you by the writer. The audience will decide if there's a moral ambiguity to your character, but that is none of your business. You're not morally ambiguous. You love, I allow myself to love the people for all of their faults and weaknesses. So I think if you do that, you won't have to worry about whether I'm doing a good morally ambiguous. A little late tonight, everybody. This has been fun. First step to acting. Find something. Memorize a play. Memorize a speech. Memorize a monologue. There's books of monologues in every library in America. Go get one. Go learn one. Go learn one. Do it in your bathroom. Do it in your bedroom. Do it in your car. Practice. What does it feel like to say words out loud? Find a poem you love. Memorize it. Get your phone and you're saying it to somebody else. Watch it. What do you look like? How do you feel? What would you do better next time? Just start acting. It's an experiential thing. I've read a lot of books, and if you can, to do it in front of other people. Thank you, Pineapple Coffee. Thank you. I wanted to, before we go, last thing, I just want to show you this amazing thing that I found in my bookshelf, because the last time I showed you that pic. Look what I found in my bookshelf. It's a little script. Little script. It's the Dead Poets Society script. Look what's on the front page. To Dylan. Carpe per diem, dude. Robin Williams. There's a gift from Robin. I'll think about it. Do you know why he said carpe per diem? Have you heard? I mean, I don't know if it's not a famous story or anything. You all know what per diem is on a film set? Per diem is cash that you're given every week. It's cash that you're given every week to buy incidentals, food, yeah, seize the cash. That's right. So Robin's, one of the things that he would say as a joke was carpe per diem. So anyway, I found that in my bookshelf. I thought I'd share it with you. I'm going to do another one of these next week, and next week we'll focus more on songwriting. If you know any songwriters, if you're a songwriter, if you ever want to try and write a song. I started acting inadvertently against my will, Sabrine, when I was 6 weeks old. My mom put me in a commercial, and then I was in another commercial when I was 6 months old, and then 4 years old, and then 9 years old, my mom put me in a play. And starting when I was 11, I wanted to do it myself, and I did it on my own volition. So I've been doing it since then. Will I play you a song? Oh, maybe. Let's see. I have my guitar down here. I'll get my guitar. I'll play you a song. Sure, why not? Thanks for doing this. Yeah, we're going to do songwriting next week. So if you come on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern next week, we'll do songwriting because I want to talk about you got to lose with a little grace. It's not whether you win or lose. It's how you play the game. I messed that up. So loser, why you got to be this way? Shake, refuse it. No, that's not the way we play. Yes, I know losing can make you sad. There's no reason to act this bad. No one choosing, play with so losing ever again. My Grammy and me, we like to play cards. And when I would lose, I took losing hard. One day I lost so bad that I threw my cards on the floor. She said, act that way, I won't play with you no more. So loser, why you got to be this way? Shake, refuse it. No, that's not the way we play. Yes, I don't lose it, can make you sad. There's no reason to act this ever again. Let me tell you. Then later on, I played soccer too. And when we would lose, here's what we would do. Go shake their hands and tell them good game. But then one of us started calling them dirty names. Hey, I saw loser. Why you got to be this way? Shake, refuse it. No, that's not the way we play. Yes, I know it can make you sad, but that's no reason to act this bad. No one chooses to play with your loser. A graceful bye-bye goes a long, long way. You'll live to fight another day. Might lose the battle, don't mean you lost the war. Ain't that what the word rematch is for? That's what I always heard that it was for. Then in high school, we had a student body election. And buddy, you lost fair and square. But I guess you couldn't handle the rejection. And like a big baby, you cried and said, no fair. Right. So loser. Oh, that's not the way we play. Look, I know losing can sometimes hurt. But seriously, who raised you? I heard a good sportsmanship. No one can play with so loser ever again. No one can play with so loser ever again. They're never gonna play with you again. Sore loser, everyone. Oh, you are the best. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate writing and screenwriting have all fed into each other, and they're all part of a storytelling process that I think if any of you actors want to come to the songwriters one, songwriters want to come to the screenwriters one, I think there can be a lot of crossover, great conversation. I've so enjoyed all of your questions. Thank you. Yes, it does sound similar to Discount Buddha. I know. I'm kind of in I don't know what kind of a songwriting zone I'm in right now. I'm just writing songs that kind of sound like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Oh, good. I hope you will be there, Barbara. I will look forward to seeing you. Thank you for all your questions and for all your support. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you want to see my latest acting venture, go to my channel and see my Henry V in the basement of my house by myself. So fun. All right. Signing off.